In this video, I'll be going over a solution for entry-level stop-motion animation on Chromebooks and other platforms that support PWAs, or progressive web apps. PWAs are supported on most computing platforms with modern web browsers, including smartphones. What is a PWA? It's basically a web page that presents as an app. On a Chromebook or other device that supports PWAs, when you go to a website that has an installable PWA, you are presented with the option to install it, and when you do, it appears as if it was an installed app on the device. PWAs can even function completely offline if programmed to do so. This project is a fork of an outstanding free and open source animation project located at this GitHub webpage. My original intent was to fork the project and simply turn it into a PWA that could be installed on Chromebooks and used completely offline. I heavily enlisted the help of ChatGPT to achieve that goal, which was a success, though I then observed there are some additional needed enhancements. The original project seems hard-coded for shooting animations at a resolution of 640 by 480, a common resolution on older webcams. Some of the first stop-motion animations I've made were created on the Logitech Color QuickCam running at 640 by 480. I even have my original Kinectix QuickCam, which could shoot in grayscale at 320 by 240. Though in these modern times, full HD webcams are commonplace. Shooting at full HD, or 1920 by 1080, strikes me as a gold standard for entry-level stop-motion animation, as most consumer displays are full HD, plus it's the resolution of Blu-ray, a solid format for physical media distribution. I acquired a highly rated webcam for animation that has a sensor resolution of 1920 by 1080, and used that for this project. The webcam isn't perfect though, considering automatic gain, white balance, and exposure, which are problematic for stop-motion animation. For more serious animation, you want to control those parameters, or at least be able to lock them down for individual shots. Though with an HDMI capture card, you could connect a camcorder or some other camera with HDMI output that could control those parameters, or at least lock them down. So in addition to turning the original project into a PWA, feature creep set in. Additional enhancements to the project are: tweaked the interface and made it scale nicely with respect to window size, replaced button graphics, which were generated with Gemini and resized and tweaked with GIMP, added support for higher resolution cameras. The app will select the highest supported resolution from a preset list of resolutions and display the selected resolution at the top right to the right of the buttons. Increased output video quality by making a change in animator.js. Changed selectable frames per second range between 5 frames per second and 30 frames per second in single frames per second increments. Made the on-off button control enabling and disabling of onion skinning. Disabled the clock feature. Disabled the red progress line and dot when playing back footage. I just couldn't get it to display well, so I removed it. Changed audio recording buttons from SVGs to PNGs to match button graphic styling. Made the audio recording countdown appear over the video preview, though that still doesn't display perfectly placement-wise. Now let's see it in action on a Chromebook. In Chrome, I go to this website, and upon going to that site, we see at the top right there's an icon that indicates this is an installable PWA. Click on the icon, then the Install button. The PWA can then be found in the shelf by clicking on the Launcher button. Now let's walk through making a basic animation. First, make sure your webcam is plugged in, then launch the PWA. Once the PWA has been started, we see the control buttons at the top, as well as some additional controls for camera and frames per second at the bottom. From left to right at the top, we see on-off, which is used for enabling or disabling onion skinning, which is a feature to overlay the last taken frame over the live feed, to assist with animation stepping and framing, and even to help fix an accidentally bumped camera. Next is the capture button to capture a frame. You can also capture a frame by pressing spacebar if the capture button was the last button engaged. The undo button will remove the last added frame. Play stop will play or stop the footage captured so far. Clear will allow you to completely clear all frames captured in case you want to start all over. Flip will flip the video frame upside down in case that's needed. Record audio will start a countdown and then play back the video footage while capturing audio to overlay on it, allowing one to primitively dub audio onto the animation, in the event you don't want to be bothering adding sound in a nonlinear video editing program. Clear audio will clear the recorded audio. The Save button will download the animation to your Downloads folder as a WebM video file. And Load will open a window to allow you to load an already saved WebM animation video to work on further. At the bottom of the frame, we see a slider control for selecting frames per second of the animation. You can select a frames per second between 5 and 30. Also, if you have multiple cameras connected, such as a built-in webcam in addition to the camera you're using for animation, a drop-down box will appear, allowing the selection of the camera to use for taking frames. Now let's whip up a quick test animation. Now let's record some audio over it. Finally, let's download the video. It's important to understand that the video is downloaded to your Downloads folder. Files saved there are not safe. On a Chromebook, it's best to use the Files app to move downloaded video files from your Downloads folder to your Google Drive, or at least back them up to some other storage device, like a USB flash drive or external hard drive. Similarly, if using this on a PC, make sure your downloaded videos get backed up somewhere safe. Now let's close the Animator PWA, reopen it, and then load in our saved animation we just created. Note that it can take a little while to load. We can add further frames, redub audio, and save it as another file. Ultimately, if more serious about editing the footage, you might be using a video editing program, app, or web-based service to edit your animation further, allowing creation of titles, transitions, fine-tuning of sound effects, and adding other visual effects. On Windows and Linux, a solid, free, and open-source video editor I like a lot is Kdenlive, which you can get here. I also like using Magix Vegas Pro for more serious video editing. On Chromebooks, WeVideo, a cloud-based non-linear video editor, can be a decent option. That concludes this video on doing stop-motion animation on Chromebooks and other platforms that support PWAs, using free and open-source software. For more serious stop-motion animation creation, my personal preference is using a Raspberry Pi high-quality camera, C and CS mount lenses, native Linux applications, and finishing editing on a more serious nonlinear editor like Magix Vegas Pro. But for entry-level stop-motion animation on Chromebooks, which are ubiquitous in K-12 education in the US, this can be a great entry-level option into stop-motion animation.